Hello StarCraft 2 fans, Horst here. I have a game between myself and a kid at my school named Tiger. He's not very high ranked on the ladder, but he's actually quite a good player, proving that ladder rankings don't mean everything. But this is an unusual game. I thought it was pretty cool. We both go for fairly standard opening builds. I get the one pylon here, the gateway at 12, and the simulator at 14, another pylon at 15. A gateway, or a cybernetics core at 17. He does the exact same thing. Speed through the opening sequence a little bit because it's not really important. You should have all the mechanics down pretty much already. And if we look at what my scout sees, I can see he has no second gas early. I can see he's getting another gateway. I can see he's chrono boosting out warp gate, so it looks like a 4-gate push. So in response to his 4-gate, or what it looks like to be a 4-gate, I throw down a second gateway and a Stargate. I really am a big fan of Phoenix play. I usually like to go 2 Stargate Phoenix, but against a 4-gate, 2 Stargate Phoenix is not a good idea, so I just go for a second gateway so I can pump out Zealots from both of them, along with the 1 Stargate so I can make Phoenix out of that with Chrono Boost. So I Chrono Boost out my Phoenix. I throw down a Forge in case he is 4-gating so I can hold him off with the Sentry here. While I warp in some more sentries to hold him off longer, while I put some cannons up to defend. That's only if he tries to 4-gate me. When my second Phoenix pops out, I'm going to fly in and try to pick off a probe or two, scout around and see what he's doing. Keep up Phoenix production while that's going on. Pick off the watchtower probes just in case. Make sure he doesn't have sight, try to keep him blind. I only have enough energy for 2 picks right there, but I can see he is expanding. So he has a fast expansion up. If you look at the income tab, he is significantly ahead of me. So I try to catch up with my own expansion. A couple more Zealots. Now, because his army didn't look very big, I figure I should probably attack him at this point. If he expanded, he might be lower on resources than me. He might not have optimized his economy. He might be having problems getting a decent army together. So we can go out and attack with Phoenix and some Zealot Sentry and a single Stalker. The single Stalker is probably a bad idea because it's just going to go out in front and get instantly vaporized. But whatever, we pick off the sentries with Phoenix, lift them off. Sentries are pretty expensive, so they're a good thing to pick. And lift up a couple of his Stalkers while I focus them down with my Phoenix. And when it looks like I'm going to lose everything, you just pull back. His economy is now way ahead of mine. If you look at the actual units lost tab, let's hit L. It's actually still in my favor a little bit, which is surprising given that engagement looked like it was horribly one-sided for him. So that's not too bad. But now that I know his economy is better than mine because he had the faster expansion, I was unable to break through. He might attack me as a response to my attack, so I put a cannon down so I can have some detection in case he goes for Dark Templar. I also saw an observer flying around here somewhere. But now that I have a decent number of Phoenix, I think I'm going to wait for one more, then I'm going to go out and harass him. Because his worker count is better than mine, he was on another base longer than mine. One of the goals is to put down as many workers as you can with your Phoenix harass. So we'll just fly in, pick off a bunch of workers. And there's not really much you can do about that. Even if he has Stalkers up here, they're not going to stop the Phoenix. You only pick off 6 or 7 workers per time you fly by because you do need to wait for Phoenix energy to regenerate. Now here I can fly by. I see he has actually expanded the gold, which isn't good for me. And the income tab is still favoring me, even though he has the gold. There it goes. Tried to Dark Templar harass me, a good idea because the Phoenix build really doesn't leave you with much in the way of detection. Just cannons at the front. Put another cannon down here to detect around here so I can pick off Dark Templar if they come in to harass me again. Now the econ is really favoring him, so we're going to have to fly in again and harass some more. Pick off another couple, half dozen, maybe a couple more workers. Lose no Phoenix because Stalkers suck against them. Fly into his main, pick off some more workers. He has like no workers on his main. This is just great for me. He's got a decent number of workers here, decent number here, but he's at 44 under 54. Even though he has the gold expansion, our incomes are relatively equal because I've been picking off workers. Let me go around to the back over to here. As he tries to rebuild workers, I can just pick them off. And another benefit of the Phoenix harass like this is I scout what he's doing. I can see he's getting some kind of Templar building, so he's going for Templar. Not a bad idea because you can feedback Phoenix, prevent them from attacking. And while that's been going on, I was massing a huge Zealot army with leg speed. And because I've been harassing them fairly well, I figured now is a good time to attack. Charge in. I do bring an Observer because I know he has DT, so the Observer gets taken down. Now I notice I'm losing my Zealots awfully fast, so I think he has DTs in here, I'm not quite sure. And it's quite a narrow choke point in there as well, so I just pull back. Units lost is still favoring me. Income tab is definitely favoring me now because he has almost no saturation in his 3 expansions. While I'm only on 2, mine are both fully saturated. Even though this one's starting to drop off, so I'm going to need to expand soon. Go out here, kill the Dark Templar that was sitting out there, and expand. You need to get observers in this build. You get them slightly later, it doesn't really matter. But keep massing up the Zealots. My money's starting to get a little out of hand, so I'm going to throw down like 7 or 8 gateways over here once this pylon finishes. Now here you can see he's attacking me, counterattacking. But the charge lots will just rip his stalkers in half while I lift half his army with my Phoenix. Look at the unit station. He has 25 stalkers, but I have 20 Zealots. So after I think I deal a good amount of damage, I will pull back and save as many Zealots as I can from this. I lose a few, but nothing too much. Look at the units lost tab, it's still in my favor. If I lose 1 Zealot for every Stalker I kill, that's a net gain in my opinion, because Stalkers are almost twice as expensive. But yeah, now I have many warp gates coming in with a third Nexus on the way, so I can keep up with him in income. He's a little ahead of me because he is on the 3 bases still, but even though I'm only on 1 mining base, it's not too far behind because he has almost no worker saturation because the Phoenix have been kicking the crap out of him. And in comes another DT to harass. He's been doing a good job with that. Fortunately, I'm warping in cannons to defend against things like this. He got here a little bit too early for me. Kills 5, 6 probes. But once this cannon finishes warping, I'll be able to detect it and snipe it off with the Phoenix. And there it goes. Dark Templar is now visible, and he's dead. Yeah, he's not been great at getting his worker resaturation down. He's been spending most of his money on army units to keep up with my Zealot force. I have been keeping up on that. I have a large ground army comprising of 28 Zealots. So if he tries to attack me with any kind of Stalker army, I'm just going to rip him in half with Zealots. If he tries to attack me with any kind of Zealot heavy army, I'll just lift him up and kill him one at a time with Phoenix, which do great damage against Zealots. And it's surprising how fast Phoenix will go through. I mean, you have to pick them up one at a time, but you can do several in a very quick succession. Here he tries to attack again. I catch him as he's moving out. He hits me with Side Storm, but it's not really too effective against Zealots because I'm right in the middle of his units. So if he wants to Side Storm too close to do enough damage, he's going to hit a lot of his own guys. And again, the Phoenix can lift off half of his units. Because I had a very mineral-heavy army with the Zealots, I have a lot of gas left over for sentries. So they give me some range support. I could be spending those minerals on Stalkers instead, but sentries honestly have better DPS against all targets when you have 3 weapons upgrades. I mean, it sounds kind of counterintuitive, but they have a much lower cooldown than Stalkers against light units. And against the light units are the ones I want support against, like Zealots. I want to cut them down quickly. We just take out his gold expansion here. The Phoenix flying overhead, not really doing much because there's nothing left to lift up. Just killing buildings at this point. But by now, he's at almost half my supply. Just the constant spam of low-level units in large numbers is pretty hard to deal with. If you look at the unit overall spending, you can see he spent about 2,000 more on technology. He spent more on army, but the thing is his units are higher tech, Stalkers. and High Templar, whereas mine are very low-tech, Tier 1 basic infantry. But because I'm using so many of them with the Stalkers for fire cover support, they're pretty effective. If he had gone for something else, like Colossus, for example, this would have been even more effective because the Phoenix do about as much damage to armored as Stalkers do. They do 9.1 DPS to armored. Stalkers do 9.7 DPS to armored. So the Phoenix are quite good at sniping out Colossus because they ignore terrain. They can just fly in, pick them off, and then get out. Now, I'm pretty sure he's on 3 bases the same as I am, so I'm going to go in with the Phoenix again to get an even bigger advantage and snipe off a bunch of workers here. Even though his army is stationed pretty close, by the time it covers this distance to here, I've already been able to kill 7 or 8 workers. I mean, look how quick they die. It's pretty much like Muta Harass, but the Phoenix are faster and more durable. And they have shields so they can regenerate quicker. Now he tries to feedback, it's a good idea, but he doesn't have enough Templar to do it. So I lose a grand total of 2 Phoenix, I think, there, for, what, 7 or 8 workers. Go back to income tab, he's almost half my worker count. And I can keep scouting with those Phoenix, give me good overall map control. I see he is expanding again, so I know I have to do something about that. But I have a ridiculously huge army at this point. I am doubling his supply. So it's a good time to push out. And of course you want to keep up with your macro, keep expanding yourself. This expansion here is almost mined out. Once these guys are all done, they'll all be transferred up over to here. I could transfer half now, but I'm kind of concentrating on the battles. Macro is slipping a little bit. Now his army here is much smaller. Yeah, he's about half the size. So, even with terrible micro, my Stalkers up front, wasting a lot of my Zealot's charge, I can still manage to pick them off. I just have too much room to deal with. He is ahead of me in upgrades with 3 armor, while I have 0 armor. We both have 3 weapons. So, my Phoenix are going to do very little damage, but my Zealots will still do plenty of damage, and I'll still take not too much damage from the Stalkers, because Zealots are light, and Stalkers do terrible damage against all unit types, but they do terrible damage especially against light units. After that victory here, I am almost tripling his supply, so there's really no hope of him recovering from this. Sure, he has the upgrade, and he has high ground advantage here, and I'm just not microing at all at this point. I'm just throwing waves at him. While this battle is going on, don't forget to warp in more Zealots. Once these gates are off cooldown, I think I warp in a wave of Stalkers. But you can focus fire down Nexuses once he retreats. He pulls back, kill the Nexus, he'll be on 1 mining base, and there'll be no hope at all of him recovering from this. Yep, he does have Blink, so his units are a bit more advanced than mine. Better armor upgrades, more better secondary abilities Blink, but he can have all the better abilities in the world. I'll still have way more numbers than he does. At this point, my army hasn't lost any supply because I have another massive wave incoming. I mean, he can deal with 1 wave. He might be able to deal with 2, but the 3rd, 4th wave's just going to overwhelm him and overrun him. At this point, he's going for a last-ditch counterattack. It looks like 41 supply. I'm literally quadrupling his supply at this point. Observer's still following my army in case of Dark Templar. I think he has 1 in here. Yes, he does. Warping in Zealots here to intercept. At this point, I am very nearly maxed. I'm just chasing his army around the map. Not really an army, it's comprised mostly of probes, but still. And he runs up here for some reason. I'm thinking he was trying to start a secret hidden expansion or something, but that's not going to help him at this point because I just have too much crap in his main, and I have units over here to protect against that. And at that point, it's a good game. So, I hope this has shown you a little bit about the use of the Phoenix. You can keep up with person even on 1 more base if you're good with the Phoenix harass. Even though he has 1 more base, doesn't mean anything if he has no probes at it. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good game.